Welcome to the yet another Saturday series session. So today we will be covering a topic on blockchain applications for common man. So before starting the session, I would like to invite Mr. Ramaguru Radhakrishnan sir. He is currently serving as the Assistant Professor Cybersecurity in Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. Before starting the session, I would like to request all the students to be attentive. So today's will be a wonderful and a productive session. So if you have any queries, you can just type it in the chat box. We will be addressing all your queries by the end of the session. Ramaguru sir, we can, without any delay, we can start the session now, sir.
Thank you, sir. So good evening to everyone who have joined this YouTube live on blockchain applications for common man. So these are the key takeaways at the end of the session. So there'll be 4 key takeaways. So looking at the key takeaway number 1, first we are going to understand what is blockchain technology. So this is how I would like to define the blockchain technology. So when you look at the technology itself, blockchain technology is widely called as distributed ledger technology, short DLT. Okay, so this is in compared to today's internet, where everything is centralized, where the data, the computation, the control, everything is centralized. Blockchain or the DLT technology is taking the computation and the data to the decentralized and distributed manner for larger benefit. Okay. So when we talk about blockchain technology, there are 2 aspects that we should first understand. One is the data structure itself, which means the ledger itself. So when we define the blockchain ledger, so blockchain ledger is nothing but a way or a method in which the data is stored in a given node or in a given computer, which is very much similar to a linked list that we would have studied in data structures, where each block will be connected to other block by a cryptographic secure hash function. So this is how the data is stored in each computer. So what is this technology? So blockchain technology is nothing but it is a decentralized computation and a distributed ledger platform. The data is distributed and the computation is decentralized. For what? To store the transactions immutably. In a given network, there will be multiple transactions that will be happening. To store these transactions in a very secure and immutable way, we use blockchain. And the advantage is anyone will be able to verify these transactions in the open and the public system, where the trust is through a rational decision-making process among the multiple parties involved in the network, which we call it as consensus. Okay, so you could have seen there are some important keywords that I've highlighted. Decentralized computation. Okay, so the computation is decentralized. Not one single computer is controlling the computation, but a group of computer is going to coordinate and do the computation, which is the multi-party. And the data again is not stored in one single computer or a server, but it is distributed across the network. And anyone will be able to view these transactions and verify it whenever it is required. So this is what is called blockchain technology. So if you want to view it, visualize the blockchain. So this is how a blockchain would look in a simple term. Okay. So we can see there is a block. Assume that this is a block in a blockchain. Okay. And each block is interlinked through a chain. And this chain is nothing but a cryptographically secure hash function. Okay. So in short, hash function is nothing but a digest for a given message. In spite of giving any variable length input, the hash function will give you a short output of a fixed size. Okay. So let us assume for this particular block, the hash function is M01U. Okay. Now for this block, the hash function is G0D1. Okay. Now, how these two blocks are connected? You can see the hash of the previous block is available as a content in the next block. Similarly, the hash of this block will be available as a content in the next block. So each block we can see is connected through this hash, which is nothing but the hash of the block. So that is how the name blockchain comes. There is a block. Each of these blocks are chained by a cryptographic hash function or hash value. That's how the name blockchain comes. Okay. And if you look within the block, you will have multiple transactions. Okay. You can see here in the example that I have shown here, there are 4 transactions: T0, T1, T2, and T3. Okay. And we have stored this transaction within the block in a binary tree structure, which we call it as a Merkle tree. Okay. So we can see these transactions, 4 transactions are stored in a binary tree structure here. And this is what is there within the block G0D1. So that's the content of the block G0D1. Okay. So now this, if we want to correlate with our existing system, let us consider the banking system. Okay. So as a user, let us say I want to transfer some money, okay, to a person called Venkat. Okay. And both of us are having account in State Bank of India. Okay. So what would I require? I would require an account in State Bank. The other person would also require account in State Bank. And each of our account will be identified by a account number. And this account number will have a balance, right? And all these details about my account and about Mr. Venkat's account, everything is stored in the machine that is controlled and owned by the State Bank. So all our details, all our transaction, every information is stored in this central server that is controlled and maintained by the State Bank of India. Okay. Now, whenever I wish to do a transaction, what would I do? Using the application that is given by State Bank of India, I will initiate a transaction telling that this is Mr. Venkat's account number. Please transfer this X rupees to his account. And I will transfer it. Once this transfer happens, what the bank's server would do, it will check whether the account numbers are correct, which means it's a valid account number. Then it will check whether the person, the sender, which is me, do I have the required balance to transfer to the receiver. So some checks and condition happens. Once everything is satisfied, this money from my account is transferred to Mr. Venkat's account, for which I will be paying a transaction fee, right? So this is how today we are doing transaction using bank apps or any of the wallets that are available. So now, how come blockchain is involved here, or how come blockchain will change this? As I have told, blockchain is a distributed ledger, right? So now the storage that is now maintained currently by the State Bank of India in the example I told, it is controlled by one organization or one authority, where if the server fails, then you will not be able to do the transaction whenever you require it. And the transaction fee is decided by the organization, which at any given time may be more or less or very high, depends on the bank and depends on the location and the type of geography we are living in. Okay. So technically also this centralization is a problem, and in management also this technical centralization is problem, right? So what we do is we take this data and distribute to a network. So we are creating our own network where we will be able to transfer the value. Okay. So I create my own network, which I call it as a blockchain network, where each of the users are identified by a account number similar to a traditional bank account. Okay. And now this data that was there in the central bank is now available in all the machines that are part of the network. Now, whenever I wanted to do transaction to someone, instead of sending the transaction to the bank, this blockchain network will broadcast this transaction to all the nodes which is forming the network. Out of all available nodes, there will be a group of nodes which will do the computation. That is why we call it as decentralized computation. Assume if there are 100 nodes, maybe a group of nodes would do the computation to verify whether the required balance is there or not, whether the sender is allowed to transfer the money or not. So all these checks and balances, which previously was done by SBI, will now be done by this group of computers. After which the transaction will be successful. Then this will be added as a part of a block. And that block is what is called this M01U. Okay. And that's why we saw each block is having multiple transactions, because for a given period of time, there will be a set of transactions that will be happening. And after a fixed period X, all the transactions that happened during that period will be grouped and it will be created as a block. Okay. So this is how blockchain technology has evolved, or this is how blockchain technology is used. Okay. Now, what are the characteristics of blockchain technology? Okay. As we have seen in the definition, these are the 4 important characteristics of blockchain technology. The first thing is decentralization and distributed, which means there is no single authority or there is no single organization who is controlling the blockchain network. It is only the program or the software that is controlling the entire network, not any person or one person. Okay. The next thing is it is immutable. Immutable, which means the transaction, once it is added into the blockchain, it can never be modified. It is technically impossible to modify a transaction. The third is, how come the trust is coming to this distributed network, which is not managed by anyone? Okay, so the trust comes through something called as consensus, where all the coordinates, where all the nodes coordinate among themselves, and they ensure that any small transaction or any small change that is happening in the ledger is commonly agreed by the majority of the participants who are forming this network. So this decision-making power and the trust on the blockchain comes through this consensus process. Last, but the very important one is, as seen in the definition, blockchain is open and public, which means it is transparent. Anyone will be able to view any transaction that has happened in the period of time in the blockchain. And more importantly, to use the blockchain, you need not do any KYC verification. You need not reveal your identity. The only thing is you need to download the client software of the particular blockchain which you would like to use. So it is open and easily accessible. Okay, so this is very, very important, which I think all these features gave a lot of hope for people in different domains when this technology was launched, or when this technology was basically identified by people. Now that we have understood what is blockchain technology and how a block would look, okay, and how it will be an alternate to the existing financial system, let us also understand what is a cryptocurrency and how it is related and how it is different. Okay, so that is the next key takeaway. Okay, the one important myth that available or majorly thought by many people think that Bitcoin is same as blockchain, or blockchain is Bitcoin. Okay, whenever even I tell my friends that I am working on blockchain technology, the quick next thing that they ask is, oh, Bitcoin, right? Or some people will be like, oh, cryptocurrency, right? Okay, so here we have to understand this: blockchain is not cryptocurrency. Okay, cryptocurrency is just one of the applications of blockchain. Okay, so the first application of blockchain is a cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin, that was launched in 2009. Okay, but after the tremendous growth of Bitcoin, experts have understood how this cryptocurrency is working. They found that, oh, the underlying technology that is making Bitcoin work is blockchain. And over the period, they've understood that blockchain is not just capable of application only in cryptocurrency, but where value is there, you can use blockchain. Okay, so that is one another important point. Blockchain, in other words, is called as Internet of Value. Okay, so today's internet, it is like, no, you get any data, you go to Google or any search engine, you will be able to get it, right? So it is Internet of Data, right? It is Internet of Data. But blockchain is widely referred to as Internet of Value. Where you want to transact a value from one person to another person, you can use blockchain. So now, to understand more about how blockchain and cryptocurrency are related, let us first understand the relationship between a country and a currency. Okay, so we know all of us are living in India, and the currency that we use in India is Indian National Rupee, right? Which is a legal tender by the government of India, which is maintained by the central bank, that is Reserve Bank of India. Okay, and we know that all the business entities that are operating within India should abide by the laws that are in place by the government of India, right? And they will be using the country's currency, which is Indian National Rupee, for their business activities within India. Okay, but we also know we have a concept called token, right? Let us take a simple coffee shop, okay, within any university or within any big offices. You go to the canteen or to the coffee shop, you wanted to buy some tea or with some vada and all. You go give the money, okay. Of course, you will get the receipt. Along with that, you will also get a color token, right? Either a pink color or a green color or a blue color, right? And each color represents, pink could be tea, green could be a coffee, and other color could be referring to vada, or any other color could be referring to a meals, right? But this token, which is referring one coffee of 15 rupees or 20 rupees, is exchanged from the country's currency, right? You gave this 20 rupees and told one coffee, so they give you that corresponding token. Okay, so this is the relationship between the country and currency, and how a business and tokens are related, and how currency and token is related. Okay, this token gains the value from the currency, right? This could be your tea, this could be your coffee, right? This could be your meals, but you paid rupee to get this token, which means this is a coffee, right? And remember, this is valid only within your college canteen. Maybe in a different college canteen, there could be a different way in which they issue token. Okay, so the one thing to remember is tokens are very specific to that particular location, right? Or that particular organization. Okay. Now, let us keep this in mind to understand how blockchain and cryptocurrency are related. Okay, let us take an example of a blockchain called Ethereum. Okay, there is a blockchain called Ethereum. Okay, so this is the blockchain, which is very much similar to a country like India. Okay, just like how India has a constitution and there are rules on which how they operate, a blockchain also has a constitution or a set of rules based on which how they validate a transaction and how they form a block, which we call it as consensus. So any action that is happening within the blockchain will be based on that defined rule. Okay, and India has INR. So blockchain could have a cryptocurrency. Okay, so this is like blockchain is the country and cryptocurrency is the currency used within this particular blockchain. Okay, so in case of Ethereum blockchain, the cryptocurrency is called Ether. Okay, and like how we have multiple businesses that are operating within this country, where you have to go follow a procedure that is defined by the government, register that company by paying some amount of registration fees, then you will be classified as a particular private limited, just like how we have those process. Even on the blockchain, you can create your own application. Okay, and any application that you create on a blockchain, we call it as a distributed application. Okay, just like how we call the application running on the web as web app and application running on a mobile as a mobile app, the application that is running on this distributed web is called distributed application. So D app. Okay, and these D apps can have something called as crypto token, which is very much similar to what we discussed, the real-time token. Okay, so you will be using this cryptocurrency, okay, which is Ether, to define your business level token. And these business level tokens, which are crypto tokens, are valid only within your dApp. Just like how the token issued by your college canteen is only valid within there, not in the other college canteen. The crypto token issued by a particular dApp is valid only within that dApp, and it is not even making sense to any other dApp that is created on the same blockchain. Okay, so this is how blockchain, cryptocurrency, and crypto tokens are related. Okay, now the third important thing that we are going to understand today is blockchain applications. Okay, now before getting into the different applications, the other main thing that we have to understand here is where exactly to apply blockchain. Okay, the scenario today, which is very hard or very shocking maybe to some people, is most of the domain or most of the areas are trying to embrace blockchain technology because it is one of the hot topics today. So any company or any big organization, they are trying to let us also use blockchain. Okay, without even having a clear idea of what blockchain is, there are many organizations which are trying to do. Okay, so now the question is, then you tell me where to use blockchain. Okay, so this is what people normally ask. Okay, so tell me the areas where I can use blockchain clearly. Okay, so the answer lies here: multiple parties. Okay, multiple parties. That's the answer to that question. Where will you use blockchain? Where there are multiple parties involved, you use blockchain. Assume that there is a transaction that is happening between you and your friend. You will not have any evidence or proof that you will be creating to lend some money to your close friend, because you basically trust him, right? You basically trust that he is not going to cheat you, he will give back the money, right? So in such cases where there is no requirement of a trust, or there is already a trust on the stakeholder, blockchain is not at all required. Blockchain is only required when there are multiple parties who are involved, and these multiple parties may not be knowing each other. Okay, and there is a lack of trust between these multiple parties. Okay, then you go for blockchain, because blockchain provides that trust through the consensus process. Okay, so you have multiple parties and basically you do not trust them. Okay, so you then go to blockchain. Blockchain gives you the trust. Okay, so this is one of the key question that you should ask before even thinking that should I adapt my existing solution or application to blockchain. This is one important question that I think we should ask. Is my application requiring multiple people's involvement? Yes. Or they already multiple people, or in future there will be multiple people involvement? It is already there. Okay. Do you require trust? Yes. Do you require accountability? Yes. Then you go for blockchain. Okay. So these are some of the applications of blockchain that is commonly referred in any article that you can find on internet today. Okay. And first one, as we have already seen, is cryptocurrency, because only through Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency, we got this amazing technology called blockchain. Okay. But there are quite other interesting areas where blockchain is widely adapted in the last 10, 12 years. Okay. One major area is e-governance. Okay. There are countries like Estonia, okay, which is a very small country. Most of their governance is now based on blockchain. Okay, they are completely electronized governance already. And once blockchain came, I think Estonia was one of the first country to adapt it quickly. And most of their e-governance today is based on blockchain. The second area is supply chain management. Okay, it could be a food supply chain management, or it could be an agricultural supply chain management, or pharmaceutical supply chain management. Supply chain is one other large area where blockchain is required, and many applications or many companies have adopted blockchain successfully in SCM. The fourth area is identity management. Identity is always a problem, right? Excuse me. So when we talk about identity management, blockchain allows a person to create their own identity, and the user himself will manage the identity. Okay. Since in blockchain there is no central point, or there is no single controller, the user is managing his own data, which is a lot advantage to the user, because he decides what data to share and how much of it should be shared to the other person. Okay. Then the fifth area is healthcare. Okay. Again, healthcare is one important thing, because you are dealing with a lot of sensitive data, right? You go to a hospital, a particular doctor examines your health condition and he gives the report. Okay. Maybe you will have a report in a file, in a paper format, in physical way, but these same details are also stored as a digital record in the hospital's in IT infrastructure, right? Now, the data is now actually owned by the hospital. Okay. And now when you want to visit to a different hospital, the challenge is you have only that file. Okay. And in case if you miss that file, you will not be able to show any of your previous health history to a different doctor in a different location. Okay. But whereas blockchain would solve this, because the data is stored on the blockchain, which is only one ledger. So you can access it from anywhere. Okay. And you control how much data should be exposed to the other medical practitioner and when. Okay. So blockchain provides you that flexibility that you control what you own. Okay. And that could be on anything. It could be on medical health record, or it could be any of the intellectual properties that you create. Maybe the drawing that you drew, okay, or a music that you created, or a song that you wrote, or the photography that you have taken, you can manage. So that obviously brings us to the next area of digital rights management. Anyone will be able to manage all their digital rights in blockchain effectively. So the copyright management becomes very effective. Okay. And the last that I mentioned is credentialing, right? We can issue our credentials on blockchain. Okay. For example, we have seen in the last month that IIT Kanpur has started issuing their degree certificate on blockchain. Okay. That is basically credentialing. Okay. So now if I am studying in IIT Kanpur, at the end of the completion of course, my degree certificate will be issued on blockchain. Okay. So now when I go for employment, I just need to give the identity or the QR code of that particular transaction, so that my employer can verify, yeah, Ramaguru has completed his PhD from this particular place or is MTech from this particular place, that can be verified independently by a employer without even contacting the issuing organization, in this case IIT Kanpur, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, whatever it is, right? So credentialing is other major application. And if you watch very keenly, all these applications that I told, no, there will be multiple parties, right? In e-governance, of course, people from different states, right, different districts and different governments, right? Central government, state government, the local corporation, the municipality level people will be there. Okay, so of course there are multiple people, and of course there is a lack of trust among these people, right? If you take supply chain management also, yes, we have the involvement of multiple people, right? You take, there is a raw material provider, then there is a manufacturer or a production person, then you package it, then you transport it, right? Then you will be storing it in a warehouse for some time, then it goes to multiple retailer shops. From there it can again still go to smaller shops, then finally it reaches the user, right? So there is a big chain of people who are working across different location, right? So yes, and these people do not know each other and they don't trust each other, right? Identity management, of course, you have to prove that you are the one who you claim to be, right? So there is no trust in that system, and maybe you have to prove your identity to different people, right? You have to go to a bank and tell that, yes sir, I am Ramaguru and this is where I am residing. You have to come to an institution and tell that, yes sir, I am Ramaguru, these are my credentials, right? And similarly, the other three areas also, I think you can take time post the session to think whether the other three areas, medical record, digital rights management and credentialing, does it involve multiple parties or not? Okay, so that you can think on your own. Okay. Now let us quickly get some practical view of this also. I would like to show one or two demos and a few applications where we have created some prototypes. Okay, I would also like to quickly show you that also. Okay. So now looking at this smart city, okay, this is one big place where blockchain has a lot of potential, okay, because everything here is smart, right? There is smart agriculture, okay, where you use a lot of IoT, there is a lot of data. Again, there is smart home and education, smart energy, smart government, smart health, everything is smart, okay. That's why we call that as a smart city, of course, right? So there is a lot of data, and you can see already there is a multiple stakeholder environment, right? Energy is from a different department, education is from a different department, and smart home is something that is to do with the individual houses and organizations. Smart agriculture is again farmers and other people, and retailing again is a different set of stakeholders as such, right? Mobility is again bringing in vehicles and other non-living beings into picture, right? Smart health, again, as we discussed, is another series of stakeholders comprising of doctors, pharmacy, all such things, right? So there is already a large multi-party stakeholder which is creating this smart city, okay? So here we need a lot of trust, okay, which is not there, okay? So blockchain could be one possible way in which that trust could be achieved among all these parties, okay. And next thing is that since blockchain has only one ledger, and since it is open and public, anyone will be able to view anything, and any action that is taken by any of the stakeholders are recorded in the blockchain. Remember the immutability feature. You do something, it is recorded on the blockchain, you cannot erase it, okay. So something that has happened is recorded, you cannot delete it from the history, okay. So that brings in the accountability feature, okay, which is very, very important in case of applications like smart city or very specific like smart health or mobility, okay. So that immutability will bring in a lot of accountability, okay. So I would like to highlight one of the application here, okay. So let us take smart government, Okay. So this is one interesting application, waste management using blockchain. Okay. So if you look at waste management as such, right, it is having lot of multi parties, right? There will be so many houses in a given area, in a municipality, in a corporation, right? And there will be ward level people who are collecting the waste, right? And there will be lot of transportations that will be involved, okay? And there will be a lot of people who are involved in segregating these wastes, okay, and sending them for recycling or sending them for dumping in the garbage, right? And of course, government involvement, the local body ministry and the central level environment ministry, and all these people are there. And we know waste today, no, is the largest place where no you get so much money. Okay, waste is equal to so much of money. And when we tell money, it means it's lot of wealth and lot of value. That way I'm telling it is money. Okay, waste is equal to lot of value in terms you can get your raw materials again from the waste itself. Okay, you can create a whole lot of new things from the waste. Okay, and to a different perspective is like something may be waste for a particular person, but it need not be waste for other person, right? So there is a lot of scope for blockchain in municipal solid waste management. Okay, where the blockchain can be used to track the quantity of waste that has been donated by individual house. Even you can do that, or at a ward level or a street level, you can do that by using the smart bin concepts. Okay, so and we can even ensure to incentivize. Okay, nowadays not everyone are following good waste management practice. So even to improve that, you can incentivize. You can tell that people who are following good practice will be incentivized, which means they will be given some crypto rewards on the blockchain itself. Okay, so this will motivate people to automatically follow good waste management practice or waste segregation practice, right? So this incentivization is possible through blockchain because again no one controls, and it is automatically done based on the logic that is built in the blockchain. Okay, and all the details, right, from how much waste I am donated, right, how when the waste bin was unloaded, when it was transported from a particular location to another location, and how much waste was collected, out of which how much is medical waste, how much is the plastic waste, how much is metal waste, how much is waste that could be recycled. All these are recorded on the blockchain. Okay, and now assume that there is a set of waste that the government is giving to some recycler to recycle. This can be transacted on the blockchain itself, and any financial settlement that is done by the recycler can be done on the blockchain itself. That gives us the clear accountability of how much waste was converted into value, and all these things can be publicly verified by any one of the people who are having access to the blockchain. Any citizen will be able to verify this. Okay, so blockchain could bring in a lot of accountability, auditability, and transparency to municipal solid waste management, and at the same time it could also be used as an important tool to incentivize people. Okay, and of course we know these are the different stages in solid waste management, and in each of these stages we know we have a lot of stakeholders and of course lot of data. Okay, and blockchain along with technologies like machine learning will be able to do a lot of analysis on the data that is stored on the blockchain, and we can even do a prediction of should we increase the number of dustbins placed in any given area, or automatically schedule the unloading time by booking appointment to a vehicle telling that okay, this bin will be will reach its full capacity by tomorrow, so by tomorrow afternoon a vehicle should go and unload that bin. So all these things can be completely automated, and end-to-end automation can be done blockchain with other complementing technologies. Okay, so this will be one helpful thing in a smart city kind of an environment. right? And next is organ donation. Okay, so this is also one important area. Okay, we can track the organ donations on blockchain. Okay, so again, I need not mention this again as lot of multiple parties involved. Okay, the donor, the receiver, right? Then again, there will be people from the legal bodies. Okay, and there will be people from NGOs who will be giving counseling, and there will be a lot of stakeholders, right? So the main advantage that we would get by doing an organ donation for taking it into blockchain is we can do a quick matching to finding the donor for a particular organ, because every data is there in one single ledger. You need not refer multiple ledgers. Okay, so that single ledger is again an advantage, and this matching can be done again automatically through some complementary technologies, right? And organ trafficking is one of the largest issues as stated by WHO. Okay, so we can bring in a lot of transparency, okay, in this system, because again, illegally people are selling in organs. Okay, so blockchain could be used largely. Already there are one or two solutions available, but it is for a specific organ. Like for example, for kidney, there is already a platform called Kidner, KIDNER. Okay, and for blood, one or two applications are work in progress. Okay, but as such for all the organs, I think there is no solution. But blockchain could be one, could bring in a lot of revolution if it can successfully do this organ management, right? Organ donation management, that will be very good. Okay. So now quickly getting on to very simple demos. Okay. Okay. So you can see these are some of the demo applications that are there. Okay. So as I told in the earlier, during the start of the session, any crypto or any blockchain will have an account, okay, to identify the user within the blockchain. Okay, just like how in banking system we have an account number to identify each user, we have an account number or a wallet address to identify each user in the blockchain environment. Okay, so you can see this is the wallet, okay, that I am having. Okay, so you can see I am having multiple accounts. Okay, so if I can quickly show you, I have so many accounts listed here. Okay, so you can see I have an account with the name pharmacy, I have an account with the name doctor. So in a crypto wallet, you will be able to create as many accounts as possible. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, and to use any blockchain service, you will require a wallet, and that wallet will be identified by a wallet address, or you can even tell in simple terms as account number. Okay, and if the application that you are going to use is blockchain enabled, without this wallet, you will be never able to do any transaction. Okay, so now I am connected to a test network. Okay, and you can see my balance is 2.4 ethers. Okay, as I told, I am connecting to a blockchain called Ethereum. Okay, where the currency is ether. Okay, and all these things are test currency. Okay, that is why you see my balance is 6,834 USD. Okay, which is not the case. Okay, this is dummy test ether. Okay, and whenever we do any transaction on a blockchain, just like how you pay a transaction fee in the traditional banking system, you should pay a transaction fee. Okay, so that is why I am in need of this test ether. Okay, so I am going to quickly show you an example called certificate issuer. Okay, a simple version of what the IIT Kanpur did. Okay, so now assume that this is Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham's certificate issuer. Okay. So when a particular batch pass out, what we do, we normally issue this certificate, right? Now, instead of issuing this certificate and storing all these details in the Amrita server, what we are going to do from now is all the details that is entered here, okay, will go to a blockchain. In sense, it will be sent to all the nodes or all the computers that is creating this blockchain network. Okay, and now it is stored in all the machines. What is the advantage? Now the data is not residing in Amrita server. It is there in this entire blockchain network, right? And now after completing my course, okay, I just want to verify any of the details. Okay, I go to my company, say after finishing my MTech, I'm joining Robert Bosch. Okay, so I can go to Bosch. Okay, instead of giving me a certificate for verification, I can just tell, sir, my certificate ID is, or sir, this is the QR code. You please scan it. Okay, he will scan it. Automatically from blockchain, all the records will be verified. And even Bosch knows that, yes, this is a blockchain, and I think I can trust whatever the data comes from the blockchain. Why? Because blockchain, the trust is gained from the consensus algorithm. And they also know that, yes, no one can tamper anything. So they are going to believe. And now you have eliminated the need for Amritas after you have graduated from here. Okay. So this is how a certificate issuer on blockchain would work. Okay. And now considering the time, I am not going to show how I will issue the certificate because it will take quite some time. Okay. So I'm just going to show the details that I've already stored. Okay. Some of my previous detail. Okay. So I'm just going to show the certificate that sample data that I stored. Okay. When I conducted my previous webinar. Okay. So this is the token ID, or in a simple term, the certificate ID. Okay. So now you can see in 2020, okay, 1st December, I have given a session to Karpagam College of Engineering, okay, Department of CAC. Okay. So that time I performed a transaction. Okay. Now we can see here. Okay. And very recently, okay, 19th February, okay, I gave a session to another college. Okay, so you can see here, Ishwari College of Engineering, Department of IT. Okay, and you can see the certificate ID and token ID are the same. Okay, and now the certificate issued to whom? This could be the wallet address of Ishwari College of Engineering, or assuming that it is a person. Okay, say Akshaya. Okay, so this could be the wallet address of Akshaya. Okay, so now the certificate is owned where? In Akshaya's wallet. Okay, now Akshaya can decide whom to share this certificate and how much of information should be exposed. Okay, so this is the advantage of going for a blockchain based solution. Okay, now you have eliminated a third party. You need not unnecessarily contact your alma mater for any of the certificate related things. Okay, but the detail was added to the blockchain by the corresponding university. Okay, and it can be verified by any third party. Okay, and it is there forever. Okay, so this is one example. Okay, certificate issuer. This is what I called it as credentialing. And quickly to show one other example is where we discussed that there are a lot of people. Okay, so I've created a sample supply chain management. Assume that you go to some say Coimbatore Kannan departmental store. Okay, now you can buy a product. Okay, you can just check what is the expiry date, right? That's all. But if blockchain comes into supply chain, you can track the entire history. Okay, you will be able to see. For example, I'm going to enter a dummy product that I have added. Okay, which is nothing but an apple. Okay, so you can see. So now when I scan the product ID, what I'm getting? I'm getting the product is apple. I'm getting the farmer ID. The farmer ID is 29. Okay, which I can tell that the farmer in this particular place, right? And the farmer is from Coimbatore. Okay, and when was this product packaged? Okay, and if it is transported, what was the temperature maintained during transportation or during storage? Okay, and what is the final price? Okay. And I can add more information. When it was shipped, from which location to which location, when it was unloaded, how many days it was there in the storage. All these details, right from the time when when the apple was taken from the tree until it reached my hand, I can see the entire history if it is blockchain. Why? Because it is one ledger. Okay. All the stakeholders are storing their details in this ledger. Okay. What is the other advantage? Okay. So this apple is optimum to be stored between 32 degree Fahrenheit is what I understand from the internet. Okay. So now assume that some farmer during packaging and during transportation has not ensured, okay, farmer with the farmer 40, he has stored it in 28 degree Fahrenheit. Okay. And if you store an apple in 28 degree Fahrenheit for quite some time, no, it will not be good. Okay. But using blockchain, now what you can identify? A particular person has purchased this product and immediately he comes and tells, sir, I don't think this apple is good. Quickly, what I can check? I can check the product ID and I know it is from the farmer ID 40. What I can do? I can immediately stop all the apples that came from farmer ID 40. Okay. Two advantages. One is I am saving the reputation of my company. Number two is the end user is not getting affected by consuming an apple that is bad. Okay. So that is only possible because of the data that is stored in the blockchain. Okay. So this is how supply chain management makes use of blockchain. Okay. And here, and again, as I told you, it could be applied in university management system. Okay. You can have a university management system that is completely running on blockchain. Okay. And you can create an identity, okay, on blockchain. Okay. You can have your own identity, like even Government of India can issue the Aadhaar on blockchain. Okay. Okay, so this is one another example. Okay, so multiple ways in which you can use blockchain. These are some of the examples that we have created. Okay. So now the last key takeaway: opportunities and challenges. Okay. So now these are some of the benefits that a common man gets out of the blockchain, right? You buy any product, you can know the entire history because of blockchain. Okay. So that is one of the major benefit. And now you will be able to prove I am this person and you control the data. That is possible because of blockchain. Okay. So these are some of the key benefits for a common man, right? He controls his own data. She controls her own data, right? And without any third party, you can prove something, right? The other aspect is how I can use blockchain, which means how a common man can use blockchain. The other things are benefit I'm getting from the blockchain, of course, by using the blockchain. But there is only the usage. There is no contribution. Okay. But the opportunity is like, how can you contribute something to blockchain? Okay. As I mentioned, digital assets, right? This is one famous news in last year. I think people who are following cryptocurrency, blockchain, or a fancy term called NFT, non-fungible token, will know this news. Okay, this person basically from India called Meta Cohen, okay, bought a digital art, which is nothing but a JPEG image with an hyperlink, which contains of a large collage, okay, containing 5,000 images that was taken by a person daily for 5,000 days. He took image and he has created a collage that was bought for 69 million US dollar, roughly 5 billion Indian national rupee as on today. Okay. So this has a lot of value, like people are buying it. Okay. Again, based on the individual perspective, what will he do with this art? That is different. Okay. But if you are having a lot of creativity, right? If you're having ability to create something, say music, song, picture, drawing, photography, or any of the other creative aspects, okay, or to manage your own digital assets, you can use blockchain. Okay, so that is one major opportunity that is quickly available for people, at least majorly for creators. They can create, put it on blockchain or NFT marketplaces, and they can earn, they can convert their creativity into value, and the copyright and the management will still be with them. Okay, so I have created an example demo app for you to show. Okay, so this is one of the example marketplace that I've created. So you can see here, okay, these are some of the drawings I have. Okay, so all these things I can post it here. Okay, and when someone buys this, okay, I will get the money directly to my wallet. Okay, and the copyright of this still, no, like as a design copyright, it will be with me, but the image will be owned by the other person. So even if he is going to sell it to some other person, the entire record that this painting was originally drawn by the person will never be removed, again because of immutability. Okay, so this is one way in which I think people can get into blockchain by converting their creativity into digital assets. Okay, and of course, talking from opportunities, like since some of you may be students who are attending this session, like what if I study blockchain, sir? What are the scope? Okay, Government of India, as we know, in the last budget they have announced that Reserve Bank of India is going to issue central bank digital currency starting next year. Okay, so there is some news that are coming on cryptocurrency from Government of India, but Government of India has a very strong stand on how they treat blockchain. Okay, so they've been continuously working on adapting blockchain on various domains. Okay, so that they can bring in benefits to the citizen. Okay, so of course all the applications whatever I have told, right, the blood donation kind of thing, or identity, or land management system, or hospital management system, are some of the things that even Government of India is focusing, so that it can majorly benefit the citizen. Okay, which is e-governance, right? And there are states like Government of Tamil Nadu and Government of Telangana who are taking a very good lead, and they've even created blockchain policy for their own respective states, and they are collaborating with Government of India's initiative, and independently also they are doing a lot of projects, lot of research activities to use and successfully adapt blockchain into e-governance, so that the benefit that a common man or the citizens of India get, to maximize that, they are working very hard. Okay, not to forget, okay, all these things are digital, cyber, virtual. There are a lot of chances that we will be ending in frauds, like any other financial fraud that happens. Crypto frauds are also very common. I think you would have been hearing this in news. So I'd like to touch upon this. Okay, a lot of people these days now would be playing games, and most of these games today are VR, AR, virtual reality and augmented reality based games. Okay, and after the announcement of Facebook of Meta, which is Metaverse, okay, which the metaverses contain a lot of in-app assets, basically digital assets, which are managed through blockchain, and the currency that is used within the metaverses are cryptocurrency. The other major evolution of blockchain would be how blockchain is going to be contributing to the metaverse, is something that all of us have to sit and watch. Okay, so for a lot of people it is going to be an opportunity, but if blockchain and metaverse are going to go far, the challenges that it is going to throw is also very high for a common man. So opportunities and challenges for common man, once the metaverse based on blockchain comes, are huge. Okay, so with that thought, I would like to tell this Amma's quote: be like the honeybee who gathers only the nectar wherever it goes. seek the goodness that is found in everyone. Okay. So we have seen majorly the good aspects of blockchain, but not to forget there are other illegal ways in which blockchain and cryptocurrency is also used. But since our focus was only to see the good, we have just highlighted only that. Okay. So thank you so much for joining this session, and thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful session. There's a query from Mr. Ajit Nair. He's asking whether this is a maths-oriented course.
So this is, talking about blockchain. Blockchain as such is a multidisciplinary domain. Okay, so it is maths. Okay, we need people from, like, if you see, when we talk about supply chain, we need people from economics. Okay, people who know good programming. Okay, we need people who know how to manage digital rights. Okay, we need people who know how to do policy management. We need people from law who can tell us how to create contracts and how to make the applications that are that we are having today a legally compliant one. Okay, so blockchain as such is not just maths or just computer. Okay, but looking from a development point of view, yes, we need a basic computer science skill, basic knowledge on cyber security or the cryptographic concepts. Maths is not the only focus. Okay, so it is not just dependent on maths, but some understanding of maths is required.
Thank you, sir. There was one more query regarding the scope of blockchain that you have already addressed.
Yes, sir.
So I think everything is done right now.
Okay, sir.
So thank you, students. Thank you for attending this session, and thank you, sir, for this wonderful session. We had a very good comment from many of the students, telling that it was a very productive. Shreyas telling like thank you for best guidance like that. So it's a wonderful session, and thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for the opportunity.